Meds clear, make your concepts clear. Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's start with our topic. ECG or electrocardiogram. It is the graphical representation of electrical activity of heart. Its components are P wave, PR segment. Together P wave and PR segment is called PR interval. QRS complex, ST segment, T wave. Together QRS complex, ST segment, and T wave is called QT interval. Let me show you the components of ECG through the diagram. Here every wave intervals and segments are outlined for you to clearly understand them before going into further details. Step by step I will discuss each component. But before that, let's understand a little bit about the ECG graph paper. On the horizontal axis the graph represents time, and on the vertical axis it represents voltage. Every big box contains 5 small boxes, of which one small box is equal to 0.04 seconds. As one big box contains 5 small boxes, and one small box is of 0.04 second, we can simply multiply 0.04 seconds with the 5 boxes. We get 0.2 seconds. This means that one big box equals to 0.2 seconds. On the vertical axis one small box is of 0.1 millivolt. By multiplying 0.1 millivolt with 10 small boxes, it would be 1 millivolt. The standard running speed of ECG paper is 25 millimeters per second. The speed varies in different hospital settings. So now, what is P wave? It is the first short upward deflection in ECG. It represents atrial depolarization, or you can say atrial contraction. Should be 2 small squares in duration. If duration increases from 2 small squares, then this indicates pathology. We are not going to discuss that in this video. So P wave should be around 0.08 seconds, with an amplitude of 2.5 millimeters high. After P wave the straight isoelectric line is PR segment, which is the flat line between the P wave and the start of the QRS complex. It reflects conduction through AV node. AV node, or atrioventricular node, is the node between atria and ventricle. When impulses travel through this node, the signals are so weak that it is not catched by the ECG machine. As a result, we see straight line on ECG graph. Interval means when we talk about more than one component. So PR interval includes P wave and PR segment. It is the time from the onset of P wave to the start of QRS complex. Should be 3 to 5 small squares in duration, which is about 0.12 to 0.2 seconds. Just remember 3 to 5 small squares, as you already know that one small square is equal to 0.04 seconds. So simply multiply 0.04 with the number of boxes and you get the answer. After PR interval, QRS complex is formed. Ever wonder why QRS is called complex while the P and T is called wave? Just because 3 waves form at the same time. So we called it complex. If we talk about them separately then we call them wave. So Q wave is the first negative deflection in the QRS complex. R wave is the first positive deflection in QRS complex. And S wave is the first negative deflection after R wave. This QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization or the ventricular contraction. Should be 1.5 to 2.5 small boxes in duration. Its duration is 0.06 to 0.10 seconds. And its amplitude is 5 to 10 millimeters high. After QRS complex comes the ST segment, which begins from the end of S wave or the J point to the start of T wave. It represents the interval between the ventricular depolarization and repolarization. It should be 2 small squares in duration, which is about 0.08 seconds. You may wonder what is the J point. It is the junction between the end of the QRS complex and the beginning of ST segment. Then after ST segment T wave is formed, which is a modest upward wave form. Represents ventricular repolarization or ventricular relaxation. It is of about 0.16 seconds. Let's move towards the QT. Interval. As it is also interval, so it consists of QRS complex, ST segment, and the T wave. It is measured from the beginning of QRS complex to the end of T wave. It is the time taken for ventricular depolarization and repolarization. Should be 10 small boxes, which is of the duration of 0.4 seconds. Hope you like this video. Comment down your queries below. See you in my next video.